The carnivore diet. For some, it is a game changer. For many, in fact. So many people have reversed their medical conditions or have lost a tremendous amount of weight. But a lot of people aren't seeing those results. They're trying to figure out what they're doing wrong. In this video, we're going to explore 5 of the common reasons the carnivore diet may not be working for you, and more importantly, what you can do about it. So let's get into this right here on the Carnivore Science Channel. Hi guys, my name is Liz. I am a pharmaceutical chemist and medical technologist with over 30 years of experience in the medical device, pharmaceutical industry, and healthcare sector. Today, I want to talk about 5 reasons that the carnivore diet may not be working as you had hoped. If you are someone who tried the carnivore diet for weight loss and those pounds are not coming off as fast as you hoped, or if you tried it for resolving medical conditions, but you still have your symptoms and it doesn't seem to be working like it is for everyone else, then we got to get into this. So here we go. Reason number 1, you're not eating enough. Yep, that's true. I know it sounds crazy, but you are probably not eating enough. If you lived through the 90s, then you've been brainwashed into thinking that you're supposed to limit your calories. Like calories are the end-all be-all of all things that make you fat. The truth is, that's not how it works. It's what you put in your mouth, not necessarily how much of it. Now, don't get me wrong. You can overeat and you can store fat from overeating. That is true. But it's not a situation where fat makes you fat. That is a myth. In fact, if you eat too much fat, your body's going to expel it a little bit violently sometimes, usually, actually. So if you eat more than you can absorb, then it just comes out like, I'm not going to get gross here, but I think you can imagine what it would lead to. So when you're actually looking at what you eat in a day, if you have been brainwashed by the past where eat less, move more is supposed to be the mantra that gets you weight loss, then you really need to recalibrate your brain because that's not how it works. So really look at your diet and think about how much you actually eat on a regular basis and what you're eating. As crazy as it sounds, that might actually be a problem. Now, on the carnivore diet, we don't count calories. We don't really look at macros that hard, or most people don't. And that's one of the things that's so great about the carnivore diet. But you do need to make sure that one macro is being satisfied, and that is that you are doing high-fat carnivore. Because if you don't do high-fat carnivore, it's not going to work as well. Why? Because fat heals. Fat is needed for your body to function correctly. If you avoid fat because of the brainwashing, then you're going to see that it's not going to be as effective. Reason number 2, you may not be seeing results on carnivore. Is your food dirty? And by that, I don't mean did you drop it on the floor, 5-second rule or anything like that. I mean, is it dirty with chemicals? Really take a look at your food because this can cause a problem. The more crap you have in the food, the more chemicals, the more preservatives, the more dyes, the more additives, the more problems you can have. A lot of your medical conditions can come from all of these additives and all of this crap that we all were suffering from when we were on standard American diet. So you got to get rid of those. You've got to keep it fairly clean. Now, I'm no perfectionist. Trust me. I drink tea occasionally. Sometimes more than occasionally, which is horrible because it has oxalates in it. I shouldn't be doing that. But I'm trying to get off of it completely. But Rome was not built in a day. And also, occasionally I will have coffee. I did get mostly off of coffee, but I will have coffee in order to alleviate headaches sometimes. So nobody's perfect, but if you're eating food filled with preservatives and filled with chemicals and additives every day in large amounts, this is not going to help you. In fact, it's probably going to make your medical conditions worse, and the weight loss is probably going to be stalled. So take a look at what's in your food and try to eat clean, whole foods. It could help. Reason number 3, you might not be successful in a carnivore diet. Are you eating dairy? Are you drinking heavy cream and cheese and things like that? Or are you ingesting milk? First of all, milk has lactose in it, which is milk sugars, which has carbs, which if you're trying for weight loss, you need to avoid carbs at all cost. So that's one thing. Now, cheese and heavy cream have low carbs, but these can cause inflammation problems in a lot of people. So keep that in mind if you're trying to get rid of health issues that you think stem from inflammation. It's very important that you steer clear of any inflammatory foods. Some people don't have any problems eating dairy and heavy cream and cheeses and things like that, but a lot of people do. So keep that in mind when you're on a carnivore diet, that you may not be able to tolerate these foods. Try eliminating dairy, cheese, one or the other, and see if that helps. Number 4, a carnivore diet might not be working for you. You might be too sensitive to eat too much of a variety of meats. And what I mean by that is there are people like Michaela Peterson, Jordan Peterson, who have to be on what's called the lion diet. They are so sensitive to just about everything that they had to eliminate everything but ruminant animals. I think mostly they just do primarily beef, water, and salt. A ruminant animal is an animal with multi-chambered stomachs. So they basically have a digestive system that filters out toxins and things that a person would be sensitive to, so it doesn't land in their muscle meat. So if you look at a pig, for instance, most of what a pig eats, if it's eating toxic things or it's eating allergens and things like that, it's going to be in the muscle meat. So it's going to potentially affect a sensitive person who may be eating like the pig. But cows, if you're eating beef, they have the multi-chambered stomachs with the actual toxin processing plant where it actually filters out a lot of the toxins, so you have a much cleaner meat. That is the reason that people eat the ruminant animals, because they might be sensitive to other types of meat. This may be you. If you're realizing that the inflammation hasn't gone down like you expected, you probably need to actually go to a lion diet to eliminate just about everything. And then you can add back in and see if one thing or another actually causes you grief. You're only going to know unless you try. So that's my suggestion if you're suffering from inflammation. I guess, when it comes to weight loss too, this could have an impact. You could find greater weight loss if you just stick to a very clean lion diet. I know it was faster for me to lose weight whenever I would do the lion diet, or I would stay very strict and only eat ruminant animals, water, and salt. So hopefully that helps. Reason number 5, a carnivore diet might not be working for you. Are you cheating? Come on, be honest. You might be cheating. And here's the thing. You might be cheating and you might not even know that you're cheating. Because a lot of times, we do things, we tell ourselves, we're like, well, a little bit of this or a little bit of that ain't going to hurt anything. What was that going to hurt? Or what is this going to hurt or that going to hurt? Well, a lot of times it can hurt a lot, actually, depending on what it is you're doing and how often you're doing it. And sometimes when we allow ourselves to cheat here and there, it can cause a lot of problems. First of all, if you're cheating and you're eating carbohydrates or, stuff with more carbohydrates in it, you're going to kick yourself out of ketosis. If you're doing a high-fat carnivore diet, you're going to be in ketosis a lot of the time. But if you kick yourself out, you are not going to feel as good as you would if you remained in ketosis. This is going to make you feel differently. It's also going to impede your weight loss. So the carnivore diet is one of these things that is not very conducive to cheating. Like it does not work very well if you cheat here and there. Like a lot of people I hear say, in fact, there was a lady that I know that went on carnivore, and she was telling me, I knew that she was done with the diet because she was telling me, well, I had to take a break because, you have to take a break when you do carnivore. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's over. She's not going to do this anymore because it's not something that really works that well that way. One of the things that Jordan Peterson said about it, he was talking to Joe Rogan about being on the carnivore diet and how it made him feel, and it makes him feel great, and he loves it, and it's wonderful. But he did say, he said, God help you if you've been on it for a long time and you go off of it, because it's not pleasant. I mean, you're talking about a shock to your system to actually start eating junk or something, or drastically change your diet like quickly and then just think that you're going to just change it and then just hop right back on the train. Now, if you fall off the wagon, obviously you can get right back on, and, if it's working for you. But, it's not something that you kind of just hop off and hop on, like back and forth. It really is not that pleasant if you're doing that. So just saying, it might not be something that you thought was significant, but really take a look at what your eating patterns are. And if you are, give it a chance. Like, hop back on and try not to deviate and see how it works for you. Give it a real chance. You also have to give it about 30 to 90 days to really see if it's going to actually work for you. In order to actually see results, you have to actually invest the time into this diet to see if it's going to work for you. Bonus round. Reason number 6, you might be having trouble with carnivore. If you're eating a lot of eggs, try to either eliminate or reduce the amount of eggs you're eating. Number 1, it can cause certain people inflammation, and if you're trying to get rid of inflammation and reduce your medical conditions, then that can actually play a factor. It just depends on the person. And I noticed, and this is just in my personal opinion, when I would eat a lot of eggs, my weight loss was slower than it was when I actually stuck to ruminant animals. So if you're having trouble, give that a try. It might actually help you. Also, if you are having trouble with carnivore and it is because you are stopping at every gas station bathroom that you pass because you have Montezuma's Revenge, there are solutions for that as well. You have to kind of monitor the amount of fat you're eating. You do have to adapt. And while you're transitioning on a carnivore diet, if you just started and you're having problems like that, in the very beginning, you do not have to pile on the fat and pile on the meat until you get used to it. If you just stop sugar or you go straight from standard American diet to carnivore, that is a drastic change. Ease into stuff. A lot of people do ketovore or keto and then they ease into carnivore. That's a really good idea for a lot of people. Just see what you can tolerate, but understand that in the beginning, if you are standard American diet especially, and you go to carnivore, your body has to get used to it. Your biome is all messed up. Everything has to adjust, and it can be kind of uncomfortable, to say the least. So just be ready for that. If you do start to transition, just understand that this is something that has to happen. I hope this has been informational, and if you like the video, please consider giving me a thumbs up, and also if you want to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.